Goes forward ahead. And the ball from Ledbury in Herefordshire must be thinking now that his chances of reaching Cardiff and the playoffs in May could be slipping away from him.
Well, his two breaker throws down his Jenkins, and he's really got some work to do. He just looks under pressure. I mean, he's sweating a lot in the face, which he never did last year. You know, he really has come off the top, as I call it, as in form, and it's something he's going to have to walk away from here and look at, perhaps the way he's keep himself fit or the work he's doing, and really get on that practice board and get some form back.
If he does miss out, Rod, the only consolation he's got is that he's not actually been adrift. You know, 14 weeks with the world's best players can be pretty unforgiving, and if you're off form and you're adrift at the bottom of the table, you're asking yourself questions, you're wondering where it's all going wrong, and it's a tall order to get yourself back on form for the next major tournament now.
Well, what happens when you're an experienced pro and been in it 15, 20 years, you've obviously had a lot of highs and lows, so you know how to come out of the low. This is probably the first low that Terry Jenkins has ever had, so he doesn't know how to come out of it. He's got to get back, sit down, look in the mirror and go, right, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. 59. And he's playing one of the most experienced pros in the game in John Park, and you know from here that John Park's not going to let him up.
3 wins out of 12 so far for Terry Jenkins. He's going down the board.
135.
And the averages, Jenkins ahead at the moment, 88.72, as opposed to John Park's 83.84. Going up the board here.
127.
Well, it's a great setup, really put the pressure on 66. Jenkins for treble 10, it's an 18 and 8 or 16, 48 he wants. He's having to check himself. Big pressure here, double top. He's got to hit it.
That's more like it from Terry Jenkins. Keeps his hopes alive, gives himself hope and encouragement. It's a must-win match for the ball. As we resume the action here at the Odyssey Arena in Belfast.
England, German, 7 players, Terry 2, Rovers.
An irrelevant point as well, Rod Harrington, is the prize money up for grabs as well. This man will be desperate to put a run together and try and win this game and keep his hopes alive. But even for 7th and 8th, there's decent prize money on the line.
Well, there's an extra $2,500 for each place. So they're up there playing for $2.5 grand a time now, especially next week. But this is where Terry Jenkins has got to show some character, some fight, you know, the professionalism that all sportsmen have got to have. And he's got to really steam into John Park here and get back at him, force him into mistakes. And that's what a good player always does.
That was his 7th ton 40 in the match so far.
42.
And he's with the throw. Everybody wants a piece of the action here in Belfast. Good crowd tonight as well, Rod.
60.
Really appreciating the action up there on stage, really enjoying themselves.
Superb darting crowd, Nigel. I mean, I don't know a dart player that wouldn't want to be up there. I mean, you know, some of us have been up there and would certainly have loved to get up there again and do what these guys are doing, but they're up there because they're the best. Well, he took 161 out in the first leg, but he ain't going to get there this time. But he just needs a treble.
65.
He's gone for 25 to leave himself 96. John Park, miles away, needs realistically 9 darts from here. Well, perhaps even 6.
Oh, yes. John Park! Putting on the style, the world champion. Just putting a little bit of pressure on this man. And now
56.
Park can all of a sudden
require 87.
win this leg. 87 he needs. Bullseye for John Park now for 5-2.
62.
The width of the wire. That was a tremendous effort, Rod.
Well, the 180 really put pressure on Terry Jenkins. He didn't get close to the treble, but will he get close to double top? just that's a good dart for Terry Jenkins. Oh, normally would have hit the flight and clipped it in. Now he's not hit this only when he wanted 50, and he's not hit it again. He's not comfortable at all.
15% checkout rate for Jenkins. 2 out of 13. Now Part. Double 8 for 5-2. No mistake that time from John Part. 5 out of 13 at the double. 38% success rate. And Jenkins is being punished for his missed opportunities.
Yeah, you can't expect to win games on this big stage if you're going to have double trouble. And certainly Jenkins has had this. And now he's putting himself under pressure. You start to think about it, Nigel. You're up there thinking about the missed doubles. You don't want to be embarrassed by getting thrashed. Of course, then it takes the focus off that treble 20. You start to miss big numbers. Of course, that's exactly what's happened to Jenkins. But Part's up there snarling. He can see an extra 2,500 here, and of course, no one wants to come bottom of this league.
John Part up against James Wade next week in Newcastle. And Jenkins facing Barneveld. What a night it promises to be next Thursday, May the 1st, live on Sky Sports. Make sure you join us for that in Geordieland.
100.
It's been a great journey so far to this stage of the league programme. Week 13, it all started at Glasgow on a cold and windy night in January. And here we are in spring in Belfast. And still, we don't know the fourth and final qualifier for those playoffs in Cardiff. Tightest ever Premier League run.
John, you require 127.
Yeah, it certainly is. Mind you, Wayne Mardle has been in that position before. He had to beat Colin Lloyd, but lost to Colin Lloyd, and Lloyd went through. Ball for Part. How many times tonight have they had darts at bullseye to win legs?
It's been pretty frequent as far as Part is concerned. Doesn't need a 180, Jenkins.
133. John, you require.
And now
42.
Part for 6-2. Surely this would demoralise Jenkins. Double 16 with the throw. 6-2. And he's one away from securing something match.
Game on.
The world champion, who, as Rod Harrington said earlier, only flew in from Canada earlier today.
100.
He'll be happy with his performance. He's been relaxed and determined at the same time.
You can see Jenkins' face when he hit the 2 treble 20s in that previous leg. You think, I can't hit a treble when I want it, then I go and hit 2 when it's too late. And Jenkins just really isn't. He's not got fluency in that throw.
100.
He needs to really work on that. As I said before, he just looks a bit tired. He's lethargic, and you've got to be upbeat up there. You've really got to have your throw on line, because like 59. You said, Nigel, the 8 best players in the world, not only the 8 best players, probably the 8 best entertainers as well, because this is a show.
Don't we know it?
59.
Bigger than ever this year. Liverpool, 8,000 fans. Wembley last week, 6,000. 5,000 here in Belfast tonight. 4,500 next week. And look at this from Part, looking for the 180. Fills the bed superbly. And it says it all. 2 180s for Part. Jenkins hasn't managed one yet.
100.
Well, Jenkins could have the consolation of the highest checkout, of course. Took 161 out, and that'd be worth £1,000 unless this man beats it.
Terry, you require 142.
So it's nice consolation, if you like, because at the moment it looks like this game is beyond him unless we see a comeback
90.
of massive
John,
proportions.
you require 57.
This for 7-2 against the throw. 17 tops for John Part. Where's he going there? Tops it is for the world champion for 7-2. Beautifully done, in control.